Hi there, listener. You're about to experience TADPOG. Tyler and Dave play old games, and there will be plenty of game talk, but also copious amounts of crude, off-color, offensive, and immature speech. So if you are of a rather sensitive humor constitution, we're just letting you know what you're in for with this show. It has games. It has jokes. You know, just games and jokes. Take the games, take the jokes, and have a good time.
Hello, Internet. Welcome to another TADPOG podcast. It's a show that happens twice a week, where two old guys and one guy who is becoming famous for being here on every fucking Wednesday play old games. Of course, thanks to Fish Lips J, I'm referring to John Turley.
Mm-hmm. He is also old, though, this guy.
Yes, that's true. The oldest guy.
The oldest guy at the table.
I wasn't going to say that.
Yeah. That's all right. That's all right.
But yeah, we play old games. This week, Original Flavor Wednesday, we have reached IGN's 6th ranked game, Super Street Fighter II Turbo. Finally, the only episode, 90 episodes that John would agree to be on. So originally, this is the only one we could get him for. This is the only one he said he would ever do.
That's true.
Now we've achieved it.
Yeah. I used to have some serious reservations about sitting down in front of the mic.
Then you're like, oh, I can drink while I do it? Fuck it. I'll be there every week.
This episode brought to you by Fireball Whiskey. It's not terribly expensive, and you can't fucking taste it. It's pretty good.
Yeah, Lord Mike hasn't called in with, this has been brought to you by random beverage in a long time.
I haven't heard a Would You Rather in a minute. What happened to the Would You Rather?
It's been a while. I don't know.
Hey, Lord
Exalted
Mike.
Lord Mike. Get
Lord
on
Mike. it. I got it. I mean, the first Would You Rather, I remember it. There was the Would you rather fight a duck-sized horse or a what was it? One duck-sized horse,
no.
one horse-sized duck,
Right.
or 100.
Yes, duck-sized horses.
Yeah,
Duck-sized horses.
ducks. I remember that. That cracked me up. I was rolling.
And just to set the record straight, because I didn't think of it last time, we're not talking about Super Street Fighter II Turbo. We're just talking about Street Fighter II Turbo. Capcom throws so many super and hypers and everything. This is just Street Fighter II Turbo.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna cross it off my nose right now. So I don't keep saying it. But also I should say that today, Dave and I, at least, are recording on St. Zach's expensive microphones that he bought us. He bought us for last year.
Yes.
And we didn't have stands or anything for them, so we put them on a shelf.
Right.
And
Forever.
just didn't say anything about it.
No.
Thanks for the mic, Zach. We'll give you a title, but we don't have the equipment to use them yet.
And then when he came in, he was like, oh, are these the new mics? And part of me was like, definitely lie to this guy. Definitely lie to this guy. And I was like, no, they're not. These are the old $30 mics that we had before.
So now we're recording on the new mics. Mm-hmm. So if we sound better, let us know. That way we can tell Zach, hey, you made a positive contribution to the show.
Absolutely.
Or we are very sorry we wasted a lot of your money.
And if you want to do a comparison, John Turley is on my old mic. So,
But I sound sexy all the time.
that is true. That is very true.
You're not on one of the mics that we had held on by a hairband.
Yeah, I've got the good old mic.
But I'm your bearded host, Tyler. And when I was trying to think of an intro story today, I was talking to Meg about it. And she's like, you should tell a fighting story. I was like, I think we've all had a sit down where we told a story about getting in a fight.
Yeah, we did.
And she's like, well, okay, tell a story about, I don't know, streets then.
All right.
It's like, story about streets. She's like, you do get lost a lot. It's like, that's true. I do get lost a lot. So then I thought of a story about me getting lost very, very severely. So Paducah to Louisville. It's about 2.5 hours with an hour time difference. So really closer to a 3.5 hour drive to get to Louisville and back. It's a pretty easy drive, but there are a few lane changes from highways. And I remember on the way back when I was driving from Louisville to Paducah one day, I think I'd zoned out listening to a podcast. And back then, I didn't really know what podcasts were. I just knew that there were these sometimes free shows you could just download and listen to. I didn't know what was good or how to find what was good or like anything at all. So I only listened to one.
What was it?
Mugglecast. It's a Harry Potter podcast.
I remember you telling me about
I was
that.
really into
Right.
Mugglecast, but it was really good because I listened to it right before Deathly Hallows came out. So it was all the speculation about the final book, and breaking in all the previous books.
So you had all this insight.
Yeah, it was good then. But then once Deathly Hallows came out, then it just sucked, and I quit listening to it. But
Is it still going? Do you know?
I have no idea.
I'm curious.
I haven't even checked since I graduated. So it's been like 6 years.
Like, what would they talk about now?
Like, I don't even. Oh man. I mean, I guess they could have stretched it out for the movies,
Yeah.
and then now they could talk about like that Pottermore website like a lot.
Hey,
I don't know.
hey, man, remember those books we talked about? You want to talk about them again? What's your favorite page?
Remember, I was really into it. I remember quoting one of the hosts like in my one of my classes at school. Like I remember what was one of our. We had every Friday we had to give up and give like 2 inspirational quotes and like what we think that we've heard that make a good bumper sticker in my what is it public speaking class. That's
yeah.
it. And I remember like sometimes like I would just completely blank. So then I would just like quote one people from Mugglecast in front of the class. Everybody looked kind of confused, but okay. I mean, I still did the assignments.
So I think a great speaker was Martin Luther King. And you're a wizard, Harry. And everyone just claps and you sit down.
But I was happy that my final I had to do a 20-minute presentation for my final in that class, and that was how to make a D&D character.
Awesome.
Which was pretty easy to fill 20 minutes of time, like breaking down alignments and the movie characters and comic characters. That was fine. I got an A in that class.
Yeah.
But going back from Louisville to Paducah, I remember one time I think I was listening to Mugglecast and I zoned out and I missed my exit. Didn't even realize because it's just road and trees and nothing else. So you don't even know anything's different unless you're really paying attention. So I noticed
Till you start seeing signs you've never seen before.
yeah. So it gets time for me to be getting close.
I say this as someone who used to live in Louisville and used to come back often. So I know what you're talking about.
And driving back, I'm like, wait a minute, I should be like pretty close to home now. And I see a big sign. It's like, welcome to Horse Cave.
What the fuck is Horse Cave?
That's exactly what I thought. What is Horse Cave? Where am I? Caves are not native terrain for horses. This doesn't make any sense. So I called my mom and tried to get her to I didn't have a smartphone. So I was trying to talk to my mom, to give me MapQuest directions on how I could get back and turned around. I ended up stopping at a Holiday Inn and begging them to print off MapQuest directions from the Holiday Inn back to Paducah so I could get back on track. But when I got home, I was like, "This is how shitty of a person I am." Because when I got home,
You
I was
brought
like,
all your horses to that cave. And they were like, no, it's just in the name. You're like, fuck you.
"Should have named it. These horses are on you."
Should have named it No Horse Cave.
But when I got home, and I all right. So I acted very upset. I remember I set the MapQuest directions down in front of my mom, and I was like, this would not have happened if I had one of those new iPhones that has like a GPS on it. That's how I got my first generation iPhone.
That's not shitty. That's just really
Just
good
sheer
thinking.
manipulation of your parents' life.
Just opportunist.
I mean, she loves you. You might as well take advantage of that fact. What's up, Internet? I'm your bespectacled host, Dave, and regardless of how I sound in these mics, I think I sound fantastic. So I want to thank you, Zach. I think I do need to get some pop filters for it. Maybe, maybe not. We've had a few hard P's.
Maybe P.
Yeah.
Pop filters.
Yeah, I think we need the pop filters.
Pop.
I don't really have a fighting story or a street story. I have a similar story to you where I was driving from Paducah going back to Lexington and completely zoned out, also listening to a podcast. I think I was listening to Satellite Dish.
Okay.
Justin McElroy and Sydney's show before it turned eventually into Sawbones. And I completely zoned out. And I remember looking up, I remember having this moment where I was like, oh shit, I should pay attention. And I looked up and I saw a sign that said, now entering Nashville.
That's only a 4-hour readjustment.
Yeah.
So yeah, hey, here's
You geography nuts.
I live here
That's
now.
a good ways out of the way.
well, here's the great thing about it was like I remember sitting there thinking, well, I mean, it was a 3-hour adjustment, and I remember thinking, okay, I have to be at work in 8 hours, so that's good. I'm not going to miss work. And I looked down and I was like, how many more episodes of Satellite Dish do I have? And it was 3 hours. So I was like, all right, just meant to be, I guess. Also,
You just stayed on 65, right?
oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah.
I mean, that's an easy shot. Once you get in Nashville,
Yeah.
that's an easy shot.
Well, it was one of those things where it's
Yeah.
like it was scary when I came to because that is what I did. Like I came, my brain was just like, "Hey, what's going on?"
You were on autopilot.
100%.
Keep the footprints
There-
down on the steering wheel.
There were
Do my
many.
podcast.
There were many times when I was coming back from Louisville, I would just be incredibly sleep deprived, and I would realize I was merging onto I-24, which is very close. It runs through Paducah, and I just have no recollection of how I got there at all.
I love those moments though, where it's like, because it's like, oh, your brain will just pretty much take care of you. If you decide
Yeah,
to check out while you're driving, it's cool.
It's kind of scary, but
Only if you're going to where you're
kinda
used to
neat.
going. If
Yeah.
it's not where you're used to going, you're
Yeah.
going back to where you shouldn't be.
Just keep your eyes open. So I don't really have a fighting story. I have a son now who fought his way out
Yeah.
of Nikki's
Yeah.
uterus. so that happened. He turned out to not be a bearded bug.
Quado style, just tore its way out.
I remember I really didn't even do like any research on a C-section. I just knew that they make an incision and then the baby comes out.
Did you watch it?
I did not watch it. They had
man.
Did you watch it?
No, she was behind a curtain. I just saw the.
Oh, I saw it.
you watched it?
Oh man!
I saw them tear my son out of
Yeah.
my
Like here's the thing. Like they
It
put
was freaky.
they put everything, like they pull everything out, right, and put it on her stomach and like pull him out of there. Is that what they did?
I didn't see. I was like I saw them pull his head out and then reach under and like hook up sort of under his shoulders and pull the rest of him out. And at that point, I was kind of paying more attention to Andy,
Yeah.
my wife at the time.
Because she's not any longer.
No, I just meant I looked at,
Thanks for the sun. Get out.
I looked away, and the reason for that was because they had to give her some drugs, some anti-nausea medication because she could feel it.
Yeah.
when they started cutting into
Like
her. Yeah,
not just pressure. She felt
not
like
just pressure,
"Ugh."
but like yeah. And so she was like,
She's a redhead, right?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. And she's laying down and she's like, I'm afraid I'm going to throw up. I think I'm going to throw up. And like, as soon as she said that,
Yeah.
the anesthetist, I guess, knew like how bad that would be.
Yeah.
And was just like, hold on. Just hits her in the vein with some of this shit. And she was just like, okay,
Yeah.
that's better. Like it was pretty quick. But yeah, and then like I didn't see. I saw them pull like about up to where his legs were coming out. But yeah, that was crazy watching them reach inside a person and pull a head.
Yeah.
out and then just
I didn't watch, and they told me not to. There was actually a nurse. I'm sitting next to Nikki's head, and then there's a nurse behind me who was pretty much just acting as a defensive lineman because
Like a Super Mario World football player.
Yeah.
Just like kicking footballs at you to keep you away.
Because like every time I just kind of turned over, like that was her job. Her job was to stand at that surgical curtain and make sure that I guess I didn't flip out or something. Like, oh, I don't want this baby after all. And like, I don't know what her fucking. I don't know what that was all about.
yeah. I don't get that because nobody like stopped me. I just kind of looked around. I was a morbid curiosity, I guess.
I was curious, but not curious enough to like take a peek because that stuff makes me queasy. Like surgeries and stuff makes me queasy. That and like fingernails ripping out.
Yeah.
But he came out healthy and angry, and peeing on everybody, which I thought was really great because like immediately just arcs of urine in the room. And like a nurse is like crying out in surprise. She's been hit, and they're like wrestling him down in that little crib thing they got there. And then they're like, all right, here he is. You can touch him. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to stay to his side because I've already seen him pee on 2 people.
You should have immediately peed on him to show him I'm the boss.
Established dominance.
I see what you tried to do. No.
So now I'm in charge of you and that nurse that you peed on by the laws of hierarchy. All right, we're all going home.
By the inverse, what do they call that? The inverse principle or something like that.
Prima nocta.
But did you see them like oxygenate him? Like, was he all purple and then they put the oxygen tube up to his face and he was...
I don't even know what the fuck was going on because like I don't remember any of that. Like they made me wait outside while they set up shop in the surgery room. And so I just came in and like, I think you mentioned this, Tyler, when you were talking about Kenna being born. And I thought of it when I walked in because it was like, oh my God, I just walked into an episode of Dexter because like everything's like just all like walled off and you got these like weird curtains and shit. And it's like, oh my God, I'm either about to become a dad or become murdered. Maybe this has been a 9-month elaborate scheme to kill me. So yeah, I mean,
No, it's an 18-year.
Did you apply?
no, that's killed my soul.
Okay, yeah.
Sorry, son, if you're listening in the future. I love you very much.
Did you apply for
That's
the
just
wife
me
murder?
being-
Because she's knocked out.
That's just your daddy's
different guy.
friend being
Sorry,
jaded.
birth. Okay, sorry.
There's a little sheet with a checkbox. They're right next to each other.
Thanks, Obama. It's Obamacare. You on a panel elected, got to kill somebody.
What's up, John?
Oh, not much.
Oh, before I totally let you talk, I remembered something. When I was in the hospital, I did the show notes for the episode that Taryn was on, and I totally thought I was going to get kicked out of the hospital because one of our calls was about vaginacology.com. And when I typed that into my browser, I got this big red screen that was like flagged for pornography, and it listed my IP address, and it was like, well, I guess we're just going to enter that URL in without testing it. So I just closed it, and I was like, man, I hope no one shows up to my room.
Funny. Man, 'cause I didn't get flagged for Imgur link for the porn I looked at when I was in the hospital, so that was fine.
Apparently, vaginacology is a lot more popular than I thought because I hadn't fucking heard. I still don't know what it is.
You could have claimed like, oh, it's birth stuff, gynecology.
Yeah.
That makes sense to me.
Yeah. I had my story ready, man. If someone came in to give me a lecture, I was gonna be like, it was a Facebook message. Someone's like, oh, you just had a baby? Check out vaginacology. It'll like help your wife like learn how to like keep everything the way it needs to be. And but no, no one came. No one gave a shit. What's up, John? Now I can actually let you talk. Sorry.
No, man. No, it's cool. I don't really have a. I had a fighting story, but I think I talked about that when we all talked about fighting stories that one time.
You clocked that dude in the band room.
Yeah,
And almost knifed that girl.
Whoa, this just took a weird turn. I
No,
don't
that's the
remember that.
C-section story.
I watched them take a knife.
What about the time you were kicked? Have you told that story on the mic?
Kicked.
Yeah, you kicked and something broke. Please don't make me tell the story for you. You were taking some lessons and you got kicked, right? Through a something.
Oh, yeah. Wow. Sorry.
It's a really good story.
Yeah. So around my freshman year of high school, I started taking Taekwondo with some friends of mine. And it was very, very good for me, I think, at that time to do that. And like I kind of boxed with my cousin a little bit, and I was just always kind of like that kind of stuff. So
You always like beating ass. We get it.
or getting hit a lot, because even then I'm like, yeah, I took a lot of good shots. And that helps. That really does help because like there have been times where I'm like, okay, this guy might whip my ass, but I know I can take a punch. I've been hit a lot.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's obvious to anybody who's listening to me. But anyway, we're doing this.
Now you're the Naruto of this podcast. Good job.
Every time I try to hit you, there's just a fucking log there. I don't know what the fuck to do. There's just a whole bunch of kunai sticking out of logs around here.
That's the ninjutsu they taught me at Taekwondo class. But so we're doing this. It's like it's based on the honor system, and we used to call it like ballroom sparring or something like that because it was just, you know. It was like deathmatch. You were just out there and you could attack anybody or they could attack you.
And it was called ballroom because of that?
Well, it was just everybody was just out there on the floor. So you had to like watch for attacks from wherever, from anybody.
Okay.
And like you could be like actively attacking someone and then move to someone else or they could, do the same. Well, my buddy, Micah Davis, was much better than me. He was a couple of belt levels ahead of me.
Is that the Micah that I met?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
cool. I didn't know that was him.
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
okay. Not Exalted Lord Micah. Purdue.
Not exalted Lord Mike. I don't know how good he is.
We'll find out. Exalted Lord Mike, come down to TADPOG
Yeah.
NX2. You and John Turley are going to fight.
Oh, no.
I'm trying to think what the name of that is called. What is it in Bloodsport where they all go, what's that tournament where it's no holds barred?
I've never seen it. I'm sorry.
Oh, man, I've seen Bloodsport. I don't remember the name of the tournament, though. But anyway, like, he was really good. Like, he could, like hold a kick, hold his knee up and just kick.
Like
Kinda
Sagat.
Like Sagat. It was the kicking equivalent of
Kumite.
the thousand hand
Kumite.
slap.
The John Turley Lord Mike Kumite.
I'm going to have to get some stats on Lord Mike here. Okay.
He's got some
only
reach.
He's
'cause
only like
tall.
6'4".
Oh.
It's like fighting Lincoln.
You can fight one historical figure. Okay. So anyway, like he's kicking and I'm blocking it. And he kick and I block and he kicks and I block and he kicks and I block and I feel, but it's backing me up, And
You're taking chip damage.
I'm taking chip damage. I am taking chip damage, but I feel the back of my legs hit like a little box, like a case that sits in front of a pane glass window. And I see him with that leg cocked, and I'm just like, oh, this is going to be bad. Because he hits me, he kicks me, and I block it, and the momentum just pushes me. I've got nowhere to go, and I fall back first into this huge window, and it breaks. And fortunately, there were some shades in the window, which deflected most of the glass just straight outward.
Yeah, that's good.
But Micah was fast, man. He was so fast. He was so fast. In fact, he realized what he had done and reached forward and grabbed my gi and pulled me in, like pulled me back through the glass. And the only thing I got out of it was he's pulling me back through the glass.
Yeah.
My hand is still back behind me, and a piece of the glass comes down and catches me right here on the finger, and that's how I got that scar.
That's like one of the best "that's how I got this scar" stories.
But yeah.
I like to imagine this daycare where just like, we'll call it ballroom and just throw all our kids in there and they just fight. Their kids, bunch of glass around, they just fight and the parents come back.
Kumite to kindergarten is what we'll call it.
Many will enter. But yeah, it would have been way worse too, because and the really funny part of it is, we were doing this under the supervision of one of the red belts. Our sensei, who is like a 3rd or 4th degree black belt, I can't remember, is outside. This is during a like fall festival type thing. We're in there sparring. He is outside actively trying to sign people up for Taekwondo class. Explaining to mothers how safe it is. Boom! Like fucking window blows
all
out.
over your ass.
So like he's telling them how it's not dangerous and all this.
Nobody fell out of it. It's very safe.
Window blows out, glass goes everywhere onto the sidewalk in front of
A kid dies.
Yeah, that was bad.
I bet you I just imagine in my mind that happening, and then like 5 kids immediately signing up. Just like yes, that I want that. Because I would have as a kid. See a dude blast through a window, get yanked back in. Yeah, I want to do that.
Yeah, it was memorable. That's for sure. And I hate to just bogart all the time. I realize we're good ways.
That's fine.
But
Okay.
man, I gotta make a shout out here, and that shout out is to Jacob York of wolf fighting fame. Jacob York, you are a good friend. Man, you are a good friend, because I just got done not too long ago listening to the episode where you talk about Jacob being stuck in the bathroom with no toilet paper. And I hate to call you out on that, Tyler. And that was really funny. Man, I would have been pissed off. Oh, son, I would have wiped my ass on your bathroom, like on your.
Well, it's fine when you live alone.
I would have wiped my ass like on your shower curtain.
You could just dog crawled like across my living room, just wiping your ass and dragging.
Sorry, dude, I have worms. I can't help it. I just can't resist it.
That guy likes you. He is a lifelong friend of yours, Tyler. Because wow.
I've been thinking about what I would have done in that situation. I honestly think I would have stayed on the toilet until like someone brought me toilet paper. Like I would have just shouted until someone brought me toilet paper.
We didn't know about the waffle stomp back then. So.
Or I would have, just got right into the shower.
Yeah, that's. Yeah.
But I would have been afraid to get in the shower because I'd really be concerned there weren't any dry towels, and I'd have to towel off on all those snot
Well, then you
rats.
see like the red line across the
Man.
Oh, I'm glad I didn't know you then.
They burned that
Yeah, you
apartment
did.
down.
You did.
Oh yeah,
I drove
did
back to
know
game
you.
with you at your house.
That's right.
So I was doing that in your house every time I
No,
got there.
you weren't. Don't tell me that. Oh man, that was.
It makes sense that one time I jerked off in your room, doesn't it?
Now
Don't leave me alone in your house, John. I'm gonna jerk off.
Oh man.
Street Fighter 2 Turbo.
Street Fighter 2 Turbo.
Oh, and Taryn. Dun, 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 dun. That's how it goes. Okay, I don't know what the fuck that shit was.
No, dude, the more you know goes.
more you know.
Yeah, totally.
That's a punch out sound, isn't it? Like,
It ain't the more you know. That much is for fucking sure.
but your show was great, Taryn. Your show was great.
Hey, motherfucker, it's our show. She was just on it.
You know, the more you know. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. No, Darren, no. You know David the Gnome. Dun, 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 dun.
Very musically talented.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry. So sorry about all that.
Do you hear that, Dave? Do you hear that, Dave?
Yeah, I can't make it out though.
That's the sound of Taryn getting everything wrong. Music.
That's all right because she gets a lot of stuff right.
She knows her Dave Matthews.
Yeah, she brings her A game every time she's
Limp
on the show.
Bizkit, Dave Matthews. She got that shit down.
And friends. And man, I can't dog on her on the Limp Bizkit thing.
Oh, dude, what? What? Here, speaking to the mic.
Shut
I know
up.
you're
No,
you're being shameful. Speaking to the mic, you're all bashful right now.
Does this count as a regretful recall?
Yes.
I own,
It looks like
Yes, anyone who's like, I used to love Limp Bizkit is definitely that's a
I'm
regret.
not, I am not going that far.
I see your Fred Durst tattoo on your neck. It looks like he's peeking out of your collar.
Just got back from seeing that guy from Stained. He was at the state fair, I think.
What?
Oh man, I thought about staying in a long time.
Fuck, man.
No, seriously, the last time I heard about it, it's Aaron something is his name, and literally they were like, Aaron blah 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 from Stained will be at. It was like a grand opening of a sporting goods store. Or something. Anyway,
The lead man of Stade will be signing copies of a flyer at the McCracken County Public Library.
Bring in your church bulletin. He'll sign it. Then you can take it to Steak and Shake, get 10% off.
but no, I did own a Limp Bizkit album. I'm not proud of it.
I could tell.
Was it the Walmart censored version? Tell me it was the Walmart censored version.
No, it wasn't censored.
Biscuit.
Oh man, it is not a. Hey, it's not something I'm proud of.
Clearly.
I'm. Yeah. I got nothing else. Man. I'm done. I'm out.
Now I know why you drink. I do hear that. It sounds like, I don't know what kind of train it is, but Fred Durst is definitely conducting
Yep.
it. It sounds like a train just full of plate glass windows and babies.
And shame.
The shame train
Oh man, Catholicism and babies.
that just ushers in a segment that I like to call Dave Reads some Wikipedia. Okay, guys. Street Fighter II, or also known as 2, and then they have a weird single quote behind that. That's probably a typographical error. But, you know, Wikipedia keeps it tight. They definitely keep podcasts off of Wikipedia. But, you know, single quote behind a Roman numeral 2, we're just going to let that slide. That's fine. That's fine. Turbo, hyper fighting. And, well, here below it says, this page has some issues. So I'm not sure what the mental stability is.
Parents abused it when it was a child.
Street Fighter II Turbo Hyper Fighting is a competitive fighting game released for the arcades by Capcom in 1992. It is the third game in the Street Fighter II sub-series of Street Fighter games, following Street Fighter II Championship Edition. At least they're consistent. Released less than a year after the previous installment, Hyper Fighting introduced a faster playing speed and new special moves for certain characters, as well as further refinement to the character balance. It eventually came out on a lot of stuff. It came out on the Super NES, the Sega Genesis, the Saturn, and then the PlayStation, PlayStation 2, Xbox, PlayStation Portable, Xbox 360. So Capcom, that probably paid a few salaries because of Street Fighter 2 Turbo.
Making that dollar.
It came out for the SNES in 1993. So that's pretty impressive because that's only like a year after it came out in the arcades. No.
This was the first, well, not Turbo, but the Street Fighter 2 was the first fighting game I ever played.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
was telling Dave earlier, like, I remember playing Kung Fu and Karate Champ, which is a terrible fucking game, by the way, on my original Nintendo. Those were the only two fighting games that I remember before playing Street Fighter 2 in the arcade.
Street Fighter 2 is like the only one that matters, I think.
Yeah.
Because like I remember when that came out and it was like, holy shit. Like this blew my hair back. I was like, holy shit, this game. And it was like, I remember the first time I played it was on a Super Nintendo at my friend's house.
Me
and
too.
I remember my initial thought was, this looks like an arcade game. Like
Well-
I was blown the fuck away.
Yeah.
And this is what a fighter should be.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was completely revolutionary to me. And it was like, I'd never played anything like it. It looked great. It sounded great. Like it looked and sounded like an arcade game. And that's like really what caught me. And then like we've just played it for hours and hours and hours. And then his dad played it for hours and hours. And I would go back to his house and we would just play. We would just fight each other. It was fun because it was like, I didn't have that many games before where two people could play at once simultaneously. And you don't have to worry about like in Ninja Turtles, it was always just like, okay, wait, I'm low on health. I need that pizza. Oh, you motherfucker, you had full health and you got the pizza. It wasn't like you didn't have any of that co-op because I really don't think co-op was that great back on the Super Nintendo. But like the fighting was, I mean, it was awesome. I loved it.
It was a pretty direct port, right? I mean,
Yeah, I mean, it was,
I remember watching you play through it, and just like I'd completely forgotten this, but watching you play just through the game, first player or single player, seeing the press start flashing above the second one. I was like, I could just insert coin.
Probably the only difference is what Street Fighter, the Super Nintendo port didn't have blood, maybe.
I don't think that there was even blood in the arcade.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, it was a pretty clean game because like Mortal Kombat was definitely Mortal
Yeah.
Kombat's trademark, and I remember them totally censoring that out because I remember getting punched in Mortal Kombat and sawdust flying out.
That's what happens when you get punched, right?
I don't know. I've never been
fights.
punched.
When you got kicked through that window, just sawdust.
Yeah, my fingers split open and sawdust flew out.
But yeah, I remember my friend who came from like my parents when I was young were pretty Christian conservative, but this friend, oh man, like there are still different ends of the spectrum when it comes to Christian conservative, and this guy's family was on the other end. Like I thought my parents were pretty strict.
Yeah.
No, this kid, like I can't believe they let him have Street Fighter 2. Blows my mind because they didn't have cable. He was only allowed to watch a certain number of like VHS tapes that they would buy him, and he could only watch. I remember Little Rascals. So when I was over there, I watched all Little Rascals, the Apple Dumpling Gang.
Oh yeah,
big on the
classic.
Apple Dumpling
Oh
Gang.
yeah, classic. My mom loves that. I'm sure your friend and my mom would get together swimmingly.
Well, he'd knocked up a girl pretty early into high school, so none of those lessons really stuck.
I remember that Apple Dumpling gang. I remember that episode where they just took turns in the warehouse until one of them got pregnant.
Where Barney Five, yeah, knocks up that girl. Oh no, Andy! I didn't wear a condom. But I remember we spent like a long time playing that. Like we would experiment playing different characters, see what we were good at, because we didn't really know anything about anything other than looking at the instruction guide, the instruction booklet, and being really befuddled why it told us everybody's blood type.
Yeah,
Like I don't know why I didn't know that, but okay. And I remember Josh Nance of Uniracers fame. I introduced him to this game by taking it over to his house once I finally got a Super Nintendo and got it, and it was nice because Josh is a good gamer. It was nice showing him a new game and just being able to thoroughly kick his ass for so long. He's like, what's this game strip? Okay. And just Ryu and just beat his ass just for hours and hours and hours.
That's what it's still like
And-
when
no-
Dave plays me.
Yeah. No, Dave. Yeah, I don't fuck with Dave in fighting games. Like it's like I'll play you like a few rounds. Okay, I'm out.
well, I like to think that Josh is like, because we all had that friend, and some of us might be that friend who was like, no, wait, I got to figure this. Wait, I got to figure this move out. Wait, I got to figure. And they're like on the other side of the screen, just like moving around erratically, like trying to throw a fireball or something. No, wait, no, don't punch me.
I remember I let Josh borrow it, and then the next time we played it, then it was like even again. He's like, no, never again. So then he got good at it. Who were your favorites? Who were your mains in Street Fighter 2?
It changed because when I was a kid, I really liked BLANKA. I loved BLANKA. I loved the idea. I was telling John about this earlier. Like when I first played this game, I remember thinking, I was like, okay, I look at all the characters. I'm like, all right, badass looking dude, very attractive woman. Hello. Feelings I haven't had before about a video game character. What is up? But wait, there's a green monster. I can play as a green fucking monster. Like, I bet he's going to be the best. And he's like the strongest. And he's just like biting people. And that's who I chose. I chose BLANKA and regretted it pretty much the full 4 hours I played. Like, I was like, well, no, he's got to be good. He's got it. Like, I'm just not good with him. I still to this day don't think BLANKA is a very good character. But like his electricity move where you'd rapidly press punch and he would electrify himself. That's all I would do with him.
Yeah, you and me both.
And it'd be like it worked great when you were playing someone like who was playing with Zangief or something like that. Because John and I recreated that earlier today, where it's like I just happened to choose BLANKA, he chose Zangief, and that's all I did that fight, which is electrify myself. And he didn't have any projectiles or anything.
There's nothing you can do other than just wait it out. But then if you've been hit once, you're done and you're gonna lose.
Now I'm a Ryu man. I love him. I love that character.
Minor regretful recall when playing against Josh, like I would pick anybody and beat him, and then like if you start to do a little bit better, So what I would refer to Ryu as was my quote unquote whooping stick. So I'd be like, oh, Josh, you get too good. I got to pull out my whooping stick and get Ryu and just beat his ass.
Oh man, that reminds me of playing Tekken with Corey Cagle. That's what it was like. I was Josh and he was you.
I remember that guy with fucking Eddie Gordo.
And Eddie Gordo.
God, fucking Eddie Gordo.
Just rolling around.
Juggle.
God. Oh my God.
So Ryu was your main, Tyler, when you were a kid?
Wow.
It was E Honda for a while
Yeah.
because same with BLANKA, 100-hand slap, and then eventually I think it was in Turbo whenever he could go forward slowly.
I didn't know that.
I didn't either.
It blew my mind when we were playing this earlier because it was like, I was like, well, I can move. I can move. This is like this changes the whole game. I am invincible. Just like tearing through everybody.
It was like he made it halfway through the single player doing nothing.
Just using that move.
1,000-hand slap and creep forward until it hits them.
Until I got the Chun-Li who jumped behind me, I switched out to Ryu, and then I was like, okay, that's just a minor setback. Went back to E Honda and just like won 3 more, just from that fucking move.
We were just we were just blown away that you could do that. It was like, this is like a hack. This is not even right.
Because I'm used to World Warrior. That's the arcade cabinet that I've got, and he definitely cannot do that in that. So like when we fired this up, I was like, oh shit, this is like I have become Death Destroyer of Worlds.
E Honda, I got to really enjoy Chun-Li and Ryu, and then whenever Turbo came out, I wanted to be good with Balrog. I tried being good with Balrog for so long, but man, Balrog sucks.
He sucks in this game. Like they've done better, I think, of like making him viable in current iterations of Street Fighter. But man, in this one, he sucks. You need that kick.
Yeah, you gotta have something.
You need that kick. All he does is punch.
Yeah, it's no good. And I want to like him because I like boxing, but
Yeah.
no, Chun-Li.
Yeah.
Don't wear gloves to Kumite. You don't do it.
Yeah, you're a Chun-Li man, aren't you?
Yeah, I like Chun-Li. She's fast and she jumps a lot. I like that. I like the fact that, and I love, she's one of the characters. I don't think they can all do this, but I could be wrong, but can do like the jump off the wall.
Yeah, the triangle kick off the side of the screen. Yeah.
That I like her ability to
That's
do that.
exclusive, I think, to her and Vega.
Vega. I remember seeing you do it with Vega. But yeah, and I like E Honda too. That's
For obvious reasons.
Well, I mean, not just that. I liked him before we realized he could do that. Before we realized he could just straight break the game.
Yep. E Honda is the jump kick of Mortal Kombat.
I remember seeing somebody who was really good with Chun-Li the first time blew my mind because like she can do everything. It's harder to do, but she can do like I didn't know. I remember the first time I saw her throw a projectile, I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
She has that? What the fuck? And then I see like what she's saying, spinning bird kick, but for 20 years I thought she was saying ting tong kick. Where she,
That might be it.
She's fucking everything. I think the best character in this game, E Honda 100-hand slap aside, I still think is Chun-Li.
Yeah.
I don't think it gets better than Chun-Li in this game.
I think
she's
if you're really good at Chun-Li, I can see that. But otherwise, I think Ryu probably.
Because like the Hadoukens, that's the easy basic move that everybody knows how to do. So she can do it, but it's basically like Hadouken like 4 times because you have to go like completely around the pad like twice to pull it off. It's ridiculous.
It's a half circle forward instead of a quarter circle forward like Ryu. Yeah, like later on in later Street Fighters, you do have to go like 2 circles around to do like her super special. I love her stage. That's like my favorite stage in the game because each fighter has their own stage. And it's based in the nation that they're from. She's the only fighter in this game from China. I remember this stage from a kid because it's like so animated. You got like the dude on the bicycle riding by in the background. You've got the guy killing the chicken in the background. And I remember making many jokes with my friend at the time about choking the chicken. Like that joke just never died. Just never died. Every time it'd be like, oh, Chun-Li's falling on the ground. Everyone sees her underwear and that guy's choking his chicken. Like that was just like the standard joke. All the stages, though, like that's another thing that made it feel like an arcade game to me, was like the backgrounds weren't static, flat backgrounds. Like there's sprites in the background animating, and there's like this small weird child in the back of BLANKA stage in Brazil who's like jumping around. And
I'll never forget the, see the plane go over Brazil.
yeah. Yeah, the voices. I was like, holy shit, man. So much, like, I learned so much geography from Street Fighter 2. Like, for the longest time, everything I knew about geography was from that game. And it's like weird seeing the map, I guess because it's a Japanese game. It's weird seeing North America and South America on the right side of the map instead of on the left side. That always threw me off.
Mom, what's USSR? Don't worry about it. USSR.
I also like the and Guile's stage, who I know Guile. Jacob loves Guile.
Meg does not.
Yes, right, we've covered that. Guile's stage is like at this air base, and there's this big like fighter jet in the background, and you're fighting on this air base, and then there's three like dumpy dudes in military uniforms just like sitting there, and it's like I guess they have like a poor perception of our men in uniform in Japan. They're just like, well, they've got one like really strong dude, and then like the rest of them just like sit around and watch fights.
Except for the guy in the movie who's not played by an American.
I just thought it was funny that, you often hear about the hand-to-hand combat exploits of the Air Force personnel.
Man, I never thought about that.
Those Air Force guys, you watch out, they'll kick your ass.
You're gonna get so many fucking dudes in the Air Force threatening to fight you. As soon as you defeat Exalted Lord Micah Purdue, you're gonna have like 8 Air Force.
I don't think I'll have to worry
They're
about
gonna be setting up windows in your yard, just like trying to get you to come out.
it. Come on out here. Stand in front of this window, fucker.
You saying Windows reminded me of the bonus stages in this game.
Oh, God.
What just involves destroying inanimate objects.
That's why I loved E Honda for those.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Oh God, yeah. Record time. You could just destroy that fucking Lexus that they drive up on the beach and let you beat the fuck out of.
That is so 1992 Lexus.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's just they took the L and just like rotated it 90 degrees, so it's or 45 degrees, so it's a V. And it's like totally straight from Final Fight. That's Doug's car that you beat the fuck out of.
Huh.
I wish, and actually in one of the recent, in Street Fighter 4, I know they have a callback to that. They have a stage where you beat the fuck out of a car, and Doug comes out like he does in Final Fight and says, "Oh, my car."
Oh my God.
Oh, my car.
I wanted to be good. I wanted so badly to be good with Vega and Zangief.
Yeah.
I thought Vega was so cool.
Yeah.
But fuck, I was just useless trying to be him. Like his attacks were so fucking light.
They're
like,
weak.
I didn't know how to how do I get on the fence? How do I
Right.
climb on the fence? I don't know how to climb. I'm dead.
Well, that's why he makes like a great boss character, because of that fucking fence. Like I feel like if he didn't have that ability to just like remove himself from the battle and then reintroduce himself and pretty much always get a hit, let's face it. Like beyond that, like you're right, he's really, really fast, but like incredibly weak.
And then Zangief, I thought Zangief was just a really cool character. Whenever, like, I remember talking, like, I forget who was telling me about it. I was like, man, he has so many scars. It's because he wrestles bears. Oh, man, he wrestles bears. I thought that, like, the spinning pile driver was, like, fucking awesome.
Yeah.
But there's no way I ever pulled any of that off. Could not do it.
No.
Throws are always hard. Like even like today, it's just like, man, Zangief is tough because you gotta be in close. Like you gotta get up in there. And if like all someone has to do is be like, no, I'm not letting you get close. Like Zangief and Chun-Li, it's fucking miserable. Like I fought John, like John was Chun-Li and I was Zangief, and it was just like fucking my yakety sax might as well be playing, because this motherfucker's like triangle jumping off of walls and like shooting fucking fireballs at me, and I'm just like slowly like fucking Jason Voorhees just like and then she's fucking peppering me. Never could fucking beat him with fucking Zangief.
Or Dalzim, like just like stretching your fucking hand across their punch.
Yeah.
Go knock you back a little bit, punch, knock you back a little bit.
Dalsim is like whenever we play, John is like, I'm not gonna pick Dalsim. Because like he's like, I guess he was just like banned every time you played.
Dude, he's the cheesiest fucking character. I mean, it's awful. But no, Zangief. I mean, we found Zangief's Achilles heel, and that is BLANKA, the other
Right.
the maybe the shittiest character. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, if you've got no projectile, that electrification, you can't beat it.
My dad was really good with BLANKA.
Really?
Because he found like, I feel like BLANKA next to Dalsim, BLANKA has like one of his moves is like an incredibly long reach where he can duck low and do like this uppercut thing.
Yeah.
It's really, really range. So like my dad could even do the spinning somersault thing. Like he was good with it just because he liked him.
I like BLANKA's throw because he totally like does jump up on dude's chest and just start biting.
Get up.
And then let's see. I remember being blown away that the bosses were in this game because it's like they include the 4 bosses from Street Fighter 2 as playable characters, and I remember that just being like, holy shit, they're pulling out all the stops in this one.
Yeah, I couldn't believe like how just few more touches made this like such an incredibly better product.
Yeah.
Just a few extra things they tossed in. I had no qualms like, buy this again? Yeah, okay, yeah. It's a lot better. And I'm just gonna throw the other one in the garbage can.
Well, see, and I kind of wish it hadn't been that successful because that's like been Capcom's MO since. They're like, hey, you remember how you liked this game? We changed it a little bit. $60, please.
That's why I bought Super Street Fighter 4 whenever they re-released it again. I was like, I'm not buying it. I bought Marvel vs. Capcom 3 when they released that again. No, I'm not doing this, Capcom.
Hey, guess who bought all that shit? Me. I bought all that shit. And it's like just knowing. It's just like it sucks because they're like, we know people will buy this. We know Dave Moore is out there. He's gonna plop down some money for this because we added 2 characters and some costumes. It's like Capcom like realized they know that DLC is out there. Like you could just give some like $15 DLC, and that would be so much like friendlier to the consumer as opposed to being like, we're gonna need like full retail price for this game. I don't know.
Oof. That's why I was so sad when I saw that when they released Marvel vs. Capcom 3 because that made my heart hurt when I thought they did that.
When they did Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, which came out like it was like 8 months later or something like that. I mean, it was like ludicrously close to the original release date.
What was the difference between those two?
They added characters.
Yeah, just a few more characters.
Yeah, they added characters.
And I remember another piece of lore that blew my mind the first time I heard it was, Sagat, Ryu gave him that scar.
Yeah.
I was like, no, I still, to this day, I've never played the original Street Fighter. I've seen like a few screenshots.
Yeah.
Never played it. My dad talked about how much fun he used to have because there was like a place where he would go out to eat on like Sundays after church, and they had it there, and he played it there. But
I've never played it
never
either.
Played it.
Maybe that can be Other Shit Monday.
That'd be good.
Where we track one down and play it.
We go to a Kentucky Dam Village and see if they have that sitting around somewhere.
They probably do. That and Primal Rage.
And it also makes me think about, because I played this game, and I remember years later hearing about the Street Fighter 2 animated movie.
Yes.
So I think we've talked about the Chun-Li shower scene.
We definitely have. The notorious Chun-Li shower scene.
So that'll be in the show notes. Ugh.
Yeah, we're going to go to that well again. I wish I'd have known about that when I was a kid, because I totally would have gone to Suncoast and bought that shit. And that like
paid $20 more for the uncensored version.
Yeah, absolutely. And there would be like tracking issues in that like 10 seconds of the movie where it's like, all the rest of this movie is just fine. And then we get to the shower scene and it just rolls.
Why is that boob green and stretched out?
I like how fast this game was.
Yeah.
That's like one of the biggest improvements I think that they made is letting you select the speed. That's where the hyper comes in. You can just add stars to it, and the more stars, the faster it is. And it's painful going back to normal because they also give you that option. You can go back, you can play normal mode. And like when you do, it feels like you're Sonic underwater. It just feels like you're fighting in molasses.
Max star speed every time.
Oh yeah,
no question.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And then I remember McElwain of Mega Man X3 fame, or Mega Man X2 fame. Sorry. He reminded me of this cheat code I completely forgot that we used to use that like made it so you could do 10 stars. And it's just like incredibly fast. Like the game is just it's ludicrous speed. The game is on ludicrous speed. It is impossible to like even do anything but button mash.
What I always loved the Street Fighter series because like Tekken series holds good for me because like it's not dependent on special moves. Because like where there's Tekken, which is like not really any special moves to speak of.
Yeah.
Mortal Kombat, which is just special moves or get the fuck out. And in Street Fighter is a comfortable middle where you can do either one and still succeed. And that's what I love Street Fighter 2 because it caters to both styles seamlessly.
Yeah. And it's not super combo heavy either, a la Killer Instinct. Like, it was all about combos.
Yeah.
I mean, there are combos in Street Fighter 2, but I like it that they're kind of in the background. It's not like in your face where it's like 5-hit combo. Where it's like, oh shit, I got to learn combos in order to be viable in this game. I like that you brought up Mortal Kombat because as we were playing this, Mortal Kombat has uppercuts, right? And uppercuts deal major damage. In this game's versions of uppercuts are throws because you throw a dude and it is taking a quarter of his life off. Like it's just gonna fucking happen. And it's like they improved that from World Warrior because you throw a dude in World Warrior and it's like a third of your life just gone. So like if you stun an opponent, that's another thing we haven't really talked about. But if you hit an opponent enough. Without taking any hits, you will stun that opponent, and they'll just stand there staggered with like stars and birds and shit circling around their head, and then you can just do whatever the fuck you want until they come out of that. They can't block anything that you do. So like the best thing I found to do is instead of even doing a special move, just walk up to them and throw them because it's just there's a third of your life just gone. I love that. There's so much good shit in this game that like this game invented. Like the stun mechanic and combos and like all of this is like, even if it wasn't the first game to invent it, it like popularized it. It said this is the perfect mixture of this stuff in 1993 to give you the best fighting experience in your home. You don't have to go to the arcade and spend $5 there. Trying to even just play the game because the 30-year-old next to you has got it mastered. There's no fucking way you're going to play this game because that guy is just going to beat you in 2 minutes and take all of your money.
Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say it is extremely well balanced in a lot of different ways. That's that's it. I mean, I'm just reinforcing your point there. I mean, it is very well put together.
I agree. I mean, and it's well polished. Like I said, it still feels like an arcade game to me. When I turned it on, it just felt good. I saw that Capcom logo. And the theme song rolled in and the logo splashed up. I mean, it was just like, holy shit, we're in it. We're doing it. We're doing this. I was so excited. And then it starts rolling through and showing you all the characters and their bios. Ryu was born in 1964, by the way, in case anyone was curious. That kind of like struck me as odd.
Because I remember what I like about this game is like it's clean. As like I can still play it now and thoroughly enjoyed it as much as I did back then.
Yeah.
As opposed to like there's so many fighters now where there's so much obtrusive shit constantly where it's like saying how many hits you have in your combos across 20% of the screen that pops up constantly behind the character, plus 3 different special bars that are constantly rotating that I don't know how to use them. I'm not going to learn how to use them. And then other bars and tagging in and out. Like there's something nice about how clean and simple and refined and straightforward it is.
Well, this is like the base building block of fighting games, I feel like, especially Capcom's fighting games. And like case in point, like Ryu, I think is like the quintessential building block fighter. Like in games, like it feels like everything is, even if it's not a Capcom fighter, they pull from Ryu. It's like quarter circle forward, quarter circle back, like all that stuff like came from this game. And it's like, I mean, how many other games? There's a lot of games where you do quarter circle forward and press a button to make a fireball come out.
Well, in 2 weeks, we'll get to Aura Bolt for Sabin because that's why I was good with Sabin because That's Hadouken was horrible for
Yeah.
Saban's blitz.
I love that.
Easy peasy.
I love it. Man, I love this game. I really do. It's hard to like talk about it without nostalgia goggles on, but I don't feel like it's great because of nostalgia. I feel like this is legitimately a great game. And I think it 100% belongs on this list, and it belongs in the top 10.
It belongs, I think, on just Super Nintendo, but like a list of all time.
Yeah.
This is high up there.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I feel like this is one of the best fighting games of all time, and refine that further to like best just console games of all time.
Yeah. Yeah, I 100% agree. I love this game. John, what do you think? Yay or nay?
Oh, it's really fucking good.
So we talk about the mistranslation about M. Bison.
Yeah, let's do it. M. Bison, by the way, is in this game. He was a boss in Street Fighter 2. And what's weird is going back and playing this game now is how small M. Bison looks. Because like he has just grown. It seems like every game that he's been in, he just gets a little bit bigger. So like it's like what's the saying about boiling a frog? It's like, does anyone know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, you leave if you put a frog in boiling water, it'll jump out. If
Right.
you put a frog in water and slowly boil it,
Right.
it'll just stay there.
That's like they totally slowly burn that frog because it's like I forgot that M. Bison was like fucking smaller than Ryu. Like I mean,
He looked like Raul Julia back in the original Street Fighter.
it's ridiculous. So yeah, M. Bison is in the game, and there's a total like translation error.
Because he's supposed to be Balrog.
Right.
But that somehow the names got switched around, so he became Master Bison, as opposed to because Balrog is a demon,
Right.
Because he's supposed to be like the demonic incarnation inside of a man, you know. But yeah, it's fucked up, and it just stuck. He became M. Bison.
M. Bison.
I didn't
which-
even know it was Master for a while. I was like, that's really fucking weird.
I didn't
I
either.
did not know that.
And I was wondering while we were playing earlier today, I never once questioned what the E in E Honda is supposed to be. Like Edgar Honda?
I don't know. Eduardo Honda.
Eduardo Honda,
you go.
the famous sumo wrestler. Eduardo.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out because I didn't think about it when I was playing it before, but playing it this time, I'm like, what is M. Bison? And I think we determined that he's like some sort of dictator or something.
See, I'm not super familiar with the lore. I love the
I
game,
don't
but I have
either.
no like. Do you know, Tyler?
I kind of like because the final boss in the original Street Fighter was Sagat. He was like the strongest fighter in the world, and the main character is Ryu. And you play through as Ryu, you beat Sagat, give him the scar, and then like M. Bison comes out of nowhere and takes over, subjugates Sagat. Like he does something in Sri Lanka and starts setting up his own like empire, trying to do. I don't know a
Shadowloo
lot
and all
about
that.
it. Yeah.
It's weird because it's like I kind of know this stuff, but on the other hand, I really
There's
don't.
a lot of crazy shit out there with all like the alpha and the different.
Yeah.
It's almost as convoluted as like Mega Man, all the different Mega Man continuities.
Yeah,
So-
the Lord of this is like equivalent to like fucking Lord of the Rings. I mean, it's just like you can just get lost in this shit. Like I remember reading when we were doing Street Fighter Alpha 2. I remember like just falling down the fucking rabbit hole of Street Fighter lore where it's just like, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. I didn't know that. Until I got to the point where it's like, fuck it, man. If they don't put this in the fucking game, I don't give a shit. It's like, I just want to punch a dude. It's okay. Can I just punch a dude?
I didn't read any of the Street Fighter extended universe novels. I don't know what's going on.
Those aren't canon, by the way. I like to think that when they were like developing this game, they were like, how do we get people to play this game who don't like fighting games? And then like Yuki's mama was like, how about we just put like a really ridiculous backstory that really doesn't fucking matter to the game? And he's like, that's good. The RPG players will love that.
Oh shit! What do you think about this, guys? What do you think about this placement on the list at number 6?
I mean, I feel it, like I said, it definitely belongs in the top 10. I honestly think that out of the games in the top 10, this is my favorite so far. I could even see it being in the 5 or 4 spot. I mean, I really, really like this game. And it was, like I said, when I turned the game on, it was just like, whoa. You know, I felt these feels I hadn't felt in a long time. It was just like, holy shit. I forgot how fucking good this game is and how much like effort they clearly put into this. Definitely in the top 10. I do personally wish it was in the top 5. John, what do you think?
I'm not at all qualified, being as I didn't own a Super Nintendo.
Fuck it, man.
And have played like 5% of the games.
Drink
that
enough
you
and you're
guys have talked
qualified
about.
for anything.
And you've listened to all our episodes. So.
I have. And I mean, I guess purely based on, what I've heard you say about the other games in the list, I feel that it's about right. I mean, I think it's a good placement. It's one of the few that I have actually played.
I think that says something
That
about
says
it.
a
Yeah,
lot.
I think it does.
It really does. And played and enjoyed the learning curve on it is not too bad, but there is a distinct difference between just button mashing, which you can do and succeed somewhat, and actually learning the move set of a character and mastering that character. Because then it's like, wow. I mean, it's really kind of, oh, well, this character is really good. This character is unfucking believable once you really, figure out how they work.
Yeah.
And that's, again, goes to what you were saying about them really putting a lot of time, I think, into it and, just doing it right. So, yeah, I would say it's definitely top 10 material for sure.
Tyler, what do you think, man?
Because knowing the 5 games that are higher than this, and this is what a good gaming journalist saw. Because I'm basing what I'm thinking, based on like an EGM from like 15 years ago.
Okay.
Because I remember like there was a poll of like the most popular gaming genres in the United States.
Okay.
I remember back then by a vast margin, fighting games were the most popular.
Yeah, absolutely.
I remember it showed the ratio between United States and Japan, where it was like fighting overwhelmingly here, RPGs overwhelmingly there.
Interesting.
So I feel like if we're going from I feel like most gamers' preferences, the game should probably be a little higher. But based on what I like personally, I feel like it's perfectly placed.
Yeah.
Because the other 5 games that are ahead of it, I do like more, but they're not fighting games. So I think this is the best fighting game on the system.
Oh, yeah.
So I think for me, I think it is. I would if I had to redo the list again. This would probably be number 6.
I think this is probably the best placed game, honestly. I really think this is the best placed game because I also really enjoy the games that come after this, but I might be able to move it like one way or the other. I think if it's it would be in my top 5, but it might just be 5. This is also, I was thinking about this while we were discussing it being the best fighter on the Super Nintendo. Did either of you guys ever try to play a Street Fighter game on the Genesis?
No.
It was unbearable. I'm not to shit on the Genesis, but it was just it never felt right. I mean, the button configuration,
the 6 button.
I know it's like just how it is in the arcade, but I also remember straight up going over to a dude's house and he had Street Fighter and didn't have the 6 button controller. And it was just we can't fucking play this game. I don't know what you're thinking. This is one of those games that I feel like really excelled on the Super Nintendo and totally took advantage of the technical advantages that the Super Nintendo had because it had a wider color palette. And this game is super colorful and they were able to capture the arcade feel by utilizing that.
Yeah, like you said, the background's being animated,
man.
Balrog's background. I mean, there's a lot of shit going on.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
It
doesn't lag out
It never
at all.
slows down.
No.
And you can have the fastest characters on that background
Yeah.
and it still doesn't get slow. It's, yeah.
I fucking love this game. I really do.
I
could
wish
talk about it
the
for
people
longer.
who are listening to you could see how excited
Oh
you
yeah.
are about
Do I
this
look?
game.
Do I look
Man,
fully erect?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You do most of the time. I have a hard time telling more when you're not erect. You got any achievements?
I do. I've got 2 achievements. I actually wrote them down. Let me reach in my pocket here. I've got an iPad, by the way, but I preferred to write these down. It felt a lot more 1993.
It's very organic.
First achievement I've got is I learned it from watching you. And in order to unlock, I learned it from watching you. You need to defeat Ryu, the AI controlled Ryu, by using nothing but Hadouken. Because that's all the fucking AI does when it's controlling Ryu. Just Hadouken, Hadouken, Hadouken. It's just this slow struggle to get close enough to Ryu in order for him to just jump back and just start spamming it again until you trap him in a corner and finally defeat him. So that's what you need to do is to unlock I learned it from watching you. My second achievement, I got is called, you're going to love this, Tyler. You're going to love this. Got a big trunk? Let me search it.
That's like a Missy Elliott or something. What is that?
Yeah.
In order to unlock Got a Big Trunk, Let Me Search It, you have to defeat Dalsim in the India stage, scoring a perfect.
That's good.
Because those fucking elephants at the end always trumpet and make like they
sound like Suikoden dragons.
They sound like Suikoden dragons. What the fuck?
Which came out, I believe, yesterday or today. Suikoden 2 came out finally on the PlayStation Network.
Oh, awesome.
So 1 and 2 are available where you can play on PS3, PS4, and Vita.
Oh,
I'm
that's
so fucking stoked.
Yeah, hell yeah. You ready to get your Vita back? Because I borrowed it.
That's all right.
I've played enough of Danganronpa to like
Be done with it.
to like get to where like you described it. Because like every time I picked it up in the hospital, it was just like, oh, and I got to set it down. So I just got to the point where they're like, you can graduate from this school by killing another classmate. And I was like, okay, I knew this already.
No, I'm almost done with Phoenix Wright and Professor Layton. I'll probably finish that tonight.
Yeah.
And then I'll start Persona Q. So I'm good for a while. If you
All right,
want,
cool.
just go ahead. I'll buy Suikoden and you just start Suikoden on it. It's fine. It's no problem.
Awesome. I love it. John, do you have any achievements?
Yeah, I actually have one, and that is called Knock 'em Out the Box. And you unlock Knock 'em Out the Box by defeating any other player by knocking on Guile's level, by knocking them out. Your knockout blow has to knock them into the box, crushing the box.
God, that was satisfying.
Yeah, man. Those destructibles in the background. It's
Yeah,
just another one of those little
again.
fucking things that make a huge difference.
And when it was slowed down whenever you knock them out. So the
Yeah,
slow-mo
exactly.
break.
It's like they fly back in slow motion. Like,
God.
and the box blows apart in slow motion. Yeah, it's nuanced.
Fuck,
you know?
man. And then like on top of that is like when single player where you're defeated and they trash talk to you. They've got like the little portrait where with words underneath it.
Go
like
home and be a family man.
Man, it's like
Yeah.
that little shit is just like it makes such a big fucking difference.
It's
Where it's
something like I expected more from you or something like
yeah.
that.
Like that shit is like really what sets this franchise apart from like Fatal Fury. Because Fatal Fury, I think, is a pretty solid, it's a solid fighting game, but like they just don't do that shit like they do at Capcom, where it's just like, look, we spent time on
Did
this.
it, Capcom?
Yeah.
I've got 3.
Okay.
I've got Mockery of Raiden, and you unlock Mockery of Raiden by if you're E Honda and you do this the flying headbutt into an electrified Blanka and kill him like that.
I love it.
And then Magneto style, you unlock that whenever you take Vega's claws away
Oh,
by damaging him.
Mag fucking Neato. Thank you, John.
And then what? And you unlock what? By getting a double KO when you're Ryu or Ken versus Ryu or Ken. I also want to do a quick shout out.
All right.
Really quickly while I'm thinking about
Okay.
it. So what's Paul playing today? Street Fighter 2. So if you're not familiar and want to see what the fuck we're talking about, Paul is playing that, and he loves that game. So I'm sure everything we've talked about, he probably does.
Yeah.
And let's see, and then some of our hardcore fans, which I love, and it's amazing they've done this. They've invested heavily into the TADPOG Wikia. So now we could be on Wikipedia because we're not culturally relevant. Imagine that.
Womp womp.
They're not like showing TADPOG episodes beside Sister Wendy episodes in your high school art class.
Sister Wendy, are you not familiar with?
Sister Wendy.
Oh man, check the show notes. There might be full episodes.
Man, fucking sister. Anytime our teacher was like too drunk to teach class, it's like fucking bumping an episode of Sister Wendy and this just old ass nun talking just ASMR style about art, just going through and just like, and like it's like sexually explicit art too.
Yeah.
She's like, look at the curvature of the penis, reflects the artist's torture. I mean, Sister Wendy's weird.
Wow.
But And then because they've put a ton of work into that, everybody's working on it, but they're all working very hard. Thank you very, very much. They put up all of our episodes are up there, and they're going through detailing each episode about content, the beards, the glasses,
That's amazing.
who hosts.
That's
everything
really,
like that.
really amazing. I found out about this. I'm sure you found out about it through the fantasy football Facebook chat, right? Mm-hmm. I haven't been on there recently, so I found out about it through a Google alert while I was in the hospital. I was like, TADPOG Google, what the fuck is this? This is awesome. And I started scrolling through it. I was like, it's got all the fucking art from the episodes and everything. It's really cool.
Should I name everybody? I feel like should I name everybody that's doing it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I feel bad. I was like, well, they're all because I don't know exactly how many people have contributed, but I know Sam, Troubadour Sam of Megalixer has been doing a lot of templates and throwing stuff up there. Phil Hawkins is going all out, using all of his journalism, and when he doesn't want to actually work, then he wants to work on this when he's at work. So Phil Hawkins, Sandwich Prince Phil Hawkins, because we were talking about titles. Like, do we do titles that much anymore? We'll do some titles. Lord Mike has been throwing a lot of stuff up there. I've seen various other people have been contributing stuff and talking about stuff. Oathbreaker Blake Woods is throwing up ideas. How much he's actually put into it, I don't know, but I know he's throwing out ideas.
Well, we don't have those million Facebook likes, so probably not a lot of effort.
So I'm sure once Baron Paul, I forgot we even call Paul Cool Baron. So
I did too.
So so Baron Paul Cool.
Baron Paul.
I believe he's been doing stuff, or I know he at least will do stuff now that he's home again from his extensive travels for work.
From his incredible journey.
So it's amazing what all they're doing.
Yeah, thank you. That was a wonderful fucking surprise to see that.
That's tadpog.wikia.com. I'll have a link to that in the show notes too.
Awesome.
Okay.
I want to thank Chandra again for knitting the cap with glasses.
Yeah.
I don't think I mentioned that I named my son Henry. I named my son Henry, by the way, and I've got a photograph of Henry wearing the knit cap with glasses that you made for him, Chandra. Thank you so much. That really made our day when we received that. Mm-hmm. So I wanted to thank you for that. I've got photos up at henrydavidmoore.com if anyone wants to see the peeing baby. Unfortunately, I don't have any pee shots on there yet, but I'm working on it. I've got a motion camera set up right next to his bassinet.
Where's the cutoff age where you can not show pictures of your kids peeing?
I'm going to kick in the door when he's 7, kick in the bathroom door and be like, gotcha, click.
Give me some karma.
This is going on tadpog.wikia.com, son. Tyler.
Yes, Dave.
Man, I've had a really good time. Really good time talking about Street Fighter 2 Turbo. I've got a very important question for you. I've got a set of questions for you. The first being, if you were to give this game a beard that just summed up how you feel about it, what kind of beard would you give it?
It's a beard. I feel that it's there, but I'm going to have to give this the massive invisible dragon beard that I'm sure Bruce Lee has in all of his movies.
The invisible dragon beard.
The invisible dragon beard.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
That's got to be a thing.
Like the beard is a dragon or it's the beard of a dragon?
Both.
Okay. So it's a dragon that has a beard on it. His beard is a dragon.
It's a beard that descends into like one of those like the Chinese long zodiac kind of dragons.
Yeah, the serpentine dragons.
It's invisible. It's his chi that is manifested. It's invisible to most people, but his chi actually forms a dragon out of his beard.
Not to us. We can see it.
We can see it.
Yeah, clearly we can see it because we just described it.
Yeah. We're also Jeet Kune Do masters, so that helps.
So bring it, Exalted Lord Mike, and the entire Air Force.
Am I right? Is that his? John, do you know? Is that his style?
It is
okay.
Jeet Kune Do, yeah. So
that was me rolling a 20 on a random knowledge check.
Yeah. No, that was good. That was good. It was, I believe, a combination of Taekwondo and Kung Fu, mostly, as several fixed position, like Taekwondo, everything is start and stop, and Kung Fu is all fluid. So it's sort of a combination of those two.
I think it's also the style that Spike Spiegel used in Cowboy Bebop.
I would not be surprised, yeah.
I'm not 100% positive because I am not a martial artist.
Because Spike Spiegel was a bad motherfucker.
He is a bad motherfucker.
Because what was it? Somebody showed like a scene where the Cowboy Bebop movie where Spike is, I'll put it in the show notes, where Spike is fighting on a train, and they synced it up side by side to like a Bruce Lee scene, and he is copying Bruce Lee's moves every bit of the way while he's knocking people out in this train car.
I think that's from the movie, the Cowboy Bebop movie. Yeah, Tyler.
Yes, Dave.
If you were to give this game, I don't know, a pair of glasses, maybe. What kind of glasses would you give it?
I've only seen the movies like in passing a few times many years ago, so I hope at some point he wears glasses in them, because I know in real life he wears glasses. So I hope in the movies he wears glasses. So I'm hoping that I give these the glasses of Jackie Chan in the Police Story series.
I haven't seen any of those.
When I saw them, like, I didn't think I would like them. When I watched them, I was like, man, these are really good movies. I really like Jackie Chan in those movies.
Did you watch them way after the fact?
Yeah, like I watched like Rush Hour 2, and then like on USA one afternoon they were showing like all the Police Story movies.
I think that's how like every adolescent boy in America was introduced to Jackie Chan, was like Rush Hour 2.
Yeah. So I was like, this is pretty internet, like the ladders and stuff, it's pretty good. But like, man, his shit in Police Story is way better. He's younger, and he doesn't have the restrictions that like the United States put on him in movies. So it's just like, do whatever. If you get hurt, it's on you, asshole.
Have you seen any? Let's see. I think maybe there's just one. There might be a return of. Have you seen Drunken Master?
No,
I know. I know it's a D&D
it.
class. It's also a movie, and it's actually really good.
Yeah.
Got another question for you, Tyler. The last question. The last question that I have for you. And John is here, so he gets to play along too. What I want to know is, how much is this game on Amazon used, specifically used? How much is Street Fighter 2 Turbo : Hyper Fighting?
Like in the future, or like
right now, at the time of this recording?
Okay.
Any guesses? Tyler, we'll start with you.
$17.50.
$17.50 from Tyler. John Turley, what do you think? How much is this game on Amazon?
$22.
$22 from John Turley. Actual retail value of Street Fighter 2 Turbo on the Super Nintendo at the time of this recording, used on Amazon, is $9.99.
Wow.
Damn.
That's
Pretty cheap.
There's not much of an excuse if you have a Super Nintendo and the internet and a credit card to not get this.
I'm not even sure you could buy it cheaper on like any of the modern consoles to like download like on Xbox Arcade.
For real. It's like $9.99.
Yeah, I mean, like just go ahead and get the cartridge. Might as well.
That's a good value, and you get to experience as it was intended.
Yeah, exactly. So, I love it. That makes me happy. Anyone want to take a stab at how much it is new on Amazon?
Because fuck, everybody had to open this when they got it.
There are probably not a lot of unopened copies of any of the games that are probably in the top 10.
Yeah.
So,
what do you think, John?
$225.
$225 from John?
200.
$200. You're both really close. Tyler, you're excruciatingly close by going over by a nickel.
So we both lose both times, which is generally that we like to go.
It is.
We should just kill this segment by saying $1 every single time.
I'll still have fun with it. $199.95.
Wow.
By the way, every time we use that Price is Right thing, we have to pay them $200.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So no, let's keep doing it. It's worth it.
Or one copy of Street Fighter 2 and they give us back a nickel.
They're like, here's a nickel, motherfucker. They mail us a check.
Well, thanks both of you for coming to Tadpog Annex today and risk me in plaguing you.
Yeah, I'm really worried about that. I've been hand sanitizing it up in here because I really don't want to go back home and be sick.
Because I did not want to have Dave to have you have to edit a show while you were in the hospital at the birth of your son, but then I ended up in the ER with some kind of mystery disease because Meg got both flu types A and B, and then I ended up getting sick with something. They're calling it gastroenteritis. They don't know what it is. So
that's comforting.
Yeah.
That's always great to go home from the ER and be like, I don't know what I got.
It could be Ebola. Right? I don't know.
I don't see blood erupting from your orifices yet.
I cleaned up for you before you came over here. Usually I have blood leaking out of my anus. I wipe it up before you guys come over.
Well, it's like it was I say it's funny, but maybe it's not funny. But both you, Meg, and Jacob of wolf fighting fame came to see Henry like the night that he was born, which was wonderful. I fucking loved seeing you guys. And then I got a call from Meg the next day saying, I have the flu. And it was like, oh shit. And
not just one flu, 2 different types of flu together.
All the goddamn flus. and then I get a text message from you like a few hours later saying I'm in the ER, and it's like, oh fuck. So I let the nurse know, because when we first got there, they were like, you can have visitors, you can have as many as you want, they can come in, just do whatever, just make sure that none of them have the flu. That's literally what she said. And so I was like, okay. And then when Meg called, she was like, you may want to let the doctor know or the nurse know so that they know what's going on. And I was like, okay, thanks for letting me know. That's a great idea. Got off the phone with her, and like 10 minutes later, I went and found the nurse, and I was like, I want to let you know that we had some visitors come in. One of them started showing flu symptoms today, and she called me and let me know. And the nurse just kind of looked at me, and she was like, okay. And I wanted to be like, you made a big fucking deal about this when we first got here. Now you're just like, okay. I mean, I guess there's nothing that could be done. So, but still, it was just kind of like, well, maybe you shouldn't tell fucking people to like not have people have the flu if it's not that big a deal.
Yeah.
Which it hasn't been. Henry's been fine. So,
But because I was like, I had a Seinfeld-esque record about vomiting.
Yeah.
Like it'd been like years since I had like actually like no holds barred, couldn't hold it back vomit.
Now you didn't eat a black and white cookie.
Didn't eat a black and white cookie. I don't know what it was. I had Wendy's like an hour before all this kicked in.
Oh, that
and
explains
that was
everything.
awful. That was, man, there's nothing worse coming back up than like a spicy chicken sandwich.
was it Sister Wendy's or was it just Wendy's?
Sister Wendy's.
Did you get tricked? You went to the wrong restaurant? The Wendy's run entirely by Catholic nuns.
Who do not wash their hands. They simply pray over them to be clean, and then they fix your
They
chicken.
don't even cook it. They just pray.
They bless it and then send it out.
It's fine.
If God doesn't want you to get sick, you won't
get
be.
sick.
But oh man, I threw up all that night.
Ugh.
And then it was Sunday. I couldn't go to like the hospital. I didn't want to, so I found a Ready Care that was open. And like my dad took me to the Ready Care, and I told you about this yesterday, David. He bitched about the Krampus the whole time we were out. I don't know why.
Me.
Yeah. I mean, the Krampus just really gets on his nerves. So there's a huge line at the Ready Care. Even like I get there as soon as they open on a Sunday, and they're already packed. So like I have to wait, and then like somebody my dad knows shows up super drunk. So he's just like looking at this guy.
He
and
thinks
like,
he's sick. He's so drunk.
well, like the guy shows up drunk. He's there to get like a hangover cure. I don't know. Like this isn't a snake oil salesman. This is Ready Care. But then like my dad is
vitamins and aspirin. Motherfucker, get out of here.
my dad's trying to deal with drunk guy who keeps like talking to him and like leaning in, and my dad's like, "What the fuck?"
Randy, I gotta get to work in an hour. A hangover cure.
So Dad doesn't even see me like get up. I go to the nurse, and I'm like, I'm about to be sick. I'd like to go to the bathroom. And like it takes her like 2 minutes to get up and like let me in. In those 2 minutes, I'm able to hold it in for about another 1:45.
Oh.
So she opens the door and begins to hold me a vomit bag, and then I just fucking pop like a balloon and go all over Ready Care. Like it gets a woman like she has to grab her child and turn out of the way. She screams, "Oh God!" as she grabs and scoops her child out of the way of my vomit stream.
To be fair, you warned her.
Yeah, I get back to that bathroom and like, okay, here's a Tadpog deep cut. This is something like, of course, gastroenteritis. I have a horrible case of the runs. So then I vomit with such force that I also shit myself in that room. So like, man, I'm a fucking mess in this Ready Care. Like it is fucked. Like they drag me to the bathroom and then like they're asking me at the door what my symptoms are. And then like I tell them
symptoms? Like, do you have eyes? Can you see me right now?
So like I finish saying them, there's like a 5-second pause. We'd like you to go to the ER.
we can't handle this.
So my dad's taking me back out of the car. I'm like, Dad, I shit myself. And like, I see he turns to me, sniffs once. Yep. takes me back home. I shower. I go to the ER. Everything's fine.
Oh, man.
That reminds me of a story of the first time I went to New York for business. I remember we were at a trade show, and we had to go to this building in Manhattan, and it was like on the fucking 30th floor or some shit like that. But the problem was we didn't know what fucking floor it was that we had to go to. So we walked into the lobby, and there's this woman who is sitting behind a security desk, and we're like, excuse us, do you know where the trade show is? And she says, yeah, it's spread across a few different floors. Do you know who you're looking for? Immediately after saying that, straight-faced, picks up a trash can off the floor, vomits into it, puts the trash can down and looks back at us. And we said, yeah, I told her the business name. And she said, yes, that's on the 30th floor. Picked up the trash can again, vomited into it, set it down. Ma'am, are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine. We just got on the elevator and went to the 30th floor.
We're not allowed to call in for any reason whatsoever. Fuck.
That's dedication.
Yeah, for a really shitty job. I mean, man.
She might make six figures. You don't know.
She doesn't. I mean, she had the dedication to someone who did make an extremely good salary for telling people what floor to go to. But I don't know. She was sick. We felt bad for her.
Thanks for listening, everybody. You can find the show on iTunes or Stitcher. So don't miss the next episode. We may or may not just talk about various illnesses, but we'll probably talk about next Wednesday, IGN's 5th ranked game, Super Mario World.
Oh, man.
As for next Monday, I don't know.
We should get, I feel like we should get some guest hosts.
We probably
for
should.
Super Mario World. That's a big one. Maybe someone who really knows Super Mario World, and maybe someone who like just played it for the first time, maybe?
Never played it. I've got some old gaming magazines, Ford Mustang, and some cheeseburgers. So that's part of the ritual to summon Jacob York. So we can try to do that.
All right. Set it in that circle, and we'll summon him right now.
Hey, you know what we like? What keeps the vomit into my body? What helps that happen?
What saves the children? That kid's gonna remember that forever.
Like on the way we walk out of it, like they're like, I see where they're trying to clean up the spot where I vomited in front of the chairs they were sitting in, and they're sitting on the other side of the room, and like I just like look at them and mouth, I'm sorry, and leave the ready care.
Billy, what do you want for Christmas? To forget that forever, Mommy.
Well, now The Exorcist is going to be like numb to him.
Yeah.
It's like,
You ruined him on all Exorcist movies.
oh, God.
You should have just started speaking in tongues immediately afterwards.
We like 5-star iTunes reviews. They help you give some power over the show. You give us a 5-star written iTunes review. Suggest a game. Mm-hmm. That'd be great.
Yeah.
Suggest a guest host for an episode. That'd be great. Either one of those, you put it on a 5-star iTunes review, and we promise we will get to it eventually.
Don't forget the TADPOG. The Tyler or Dave.
Tyler or Dave play old games. I had a request today about Bart versus the World for Todd Pog.
Did you say leave a 5-star review? And they said I already have. And you said leave another one. Hey guys, just like Tyler said, thanks for listening. We really do appreciate it. We're going to be back, just like Tyler said, with more TADPOG goodness. In the meantime, you can always find us on tadpog.com. That's where the show notes live. And more importantly, that's where old episodes live. We had to cut our RSS feed short due to our show showing up on iTunes. So if you want to listen to any of the old stuff, everything is there. You can also find us on Facebook. We are at facebook.com/tadpog. There are a lot of cool people there doing a lot of cool shit. I wish I could have been more active the last couple days. I'm going to be there. I'm going to learn. I'm going to get better. I'm going to discipline myself to be on Facebook more frequently. You can also find us on Twitter. We are at tadpog_podcast. It's cumbersome. I realize. Thank you for everybody who is retweeting our episode posts and generally just talking on there. It's actually been really cool talking to the Twitter folks. Call us if you want. I hope I can remember our number. I think it's 270 883. I forgot our number forever. 883-2555.
There you go.
Yeah, give us a call. Leave us a voicemail or a text. Try to keep it under 3 minutes if possible. We love questions. We love video game questions, and we love questions about the Ninja Turtles, the Golden Girls. You name it, we'll answer it.
Seinfeld and Friends probably too, right?
Yeah, we could do that.
Yeah, let's do that.
Naruto, that's fine. It's been a while since I filled out a Naruto question.
Throw some Cowboy Bebop questions at Dave's. Yeah.
Pornography.
Yeah. A plethora of all things.
And I feel like people who were to listen to old episodes now that we've had to cut the iTunes feed, like there are various podcasting apps for your smartphone. Some will go off of iTunes, so you'll get a shortened feed if they go off of iTunes. Some will base it off our website, so you'll get a full list from the website. You might just have to. I know on Android, Pocket Cast, which Two Dudes on a NES recommended. I love that. I bought that. I think it's fantastic.
Awesome.
But it goes off
That's
iTunes.
That's the jelly. That's the jelly
jelly
thing.
one. That goes off iTunes, so it's cut off there. But like OneCast, which is a free app for Android phones, has our full catalog.
Awesome.
So if you have an iPhone or an Android, you might just have to experiment and learn a little bit, but there'll be a way. You can find one.
Cool. Thanks for being on the show, John.
Hey, thanks for having me. Thanks for letting me play some Street Fighter.
I'm glad we could finally get you on, is what I planned to say on the Street Fighter 2 Turbo episode. But I'm going to go ahead and say it anyway. I guess we'll have to find out, the TADPOG Wikia, how many episodes you've been on.
Man, that's a good category.
We need a bar graph with like guest hosts.
Man, that is in Troubadour Sam's wheelhouse.
I am all about quantity over quality.
There's something about your dick in there somewhere.
Yeah, man, you totally took that like out of my mouth. John's dick, I mean. I wasn't done with that.
Because I can tell you not both because you're an Apple man, so you had the pinwheel and I had the file and the magnify. Like we were both.
Fucking hourglass was turning.
I was John Hodgman. You were. Yeah, it's good.
That Justin Long.
Justin Long, thank you. So now we're running super long. That's good. I feel like we had a lot of good content. I don't feel bad.
Yeah, I love this episode already. Normally at this point, I'm like, thanks for bearing through it, guys. But fuck it, man. You guys got a treat. You heard about a lot of shit today.
Oh, man.
Happy Wednesday.
That's how you went. I feel like we've done a lot of Josh. So one, traditional Brandon style, original Tropical Capricorn.
Can we do it as our favorite Street Fighter 2 character?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know how I'm gonna sound like a little Chinese girl.
That's what I'm waiting to hear.
Man, I was
Chinese
hoping
woman.
we were all gonna be a little Chinese girl.
Yatta!
Until next time. Tropical Capricorn.
And I was really, really happy when I heard Fish Lips Jay called me John Turley of every fucking Wednesday. I was like, yeah. Jacob of Wolf Fighting Fame. John Turley of every fucking Wednesday.